Hey there, Miss Higgy coming at you again this week. Hope you had a good week. Mine was interesting, as usual. But today, I'm not talking politics, or at least I don't think I'm talking politics. I'm going to talk race. Hmm, that's political, I suppose. I want to talk about this term that's been assigned to me and maybe you. Um, People of color? Like, who are the people of color and when did we become people of color? Sounds like colored people to me. And I know in the 60s, black people said, we're not colored people. We'll be African American. We'll be black and we're proud. Thank you, James Brown. But we rejected being called colored people. So when I hear this term, people of color, for me, it's like a backdoor way of calling us colored people again. And I don't know about you, but I'm offended by it, right? Because I need to know, who are we talking about, right? Are we talking about black people? Are we talking about Asian people? Are we talking about Latino people? Who are we talking about? And it's particularly bothersome in terms of employment, in terms of academia, in terms of loans and small business opportunities. Who are we talking about? So when we allow that there be reports given that just say people of color, we need to be saying, can you break that down for us? Like, who are we talking about here? Right? Who got accepted? Who got the job? Let's be clear, right? So I guess, there were some other people who felt the same way that I did. Like, what the hell? What is this people of color crap? So whoever gave us this term, because I'm kind of thinking that we probably were not at the table when this decision was made, they came up with another acronym for us, BIPOC, BIPOC. So let me tell you what all that stands for, because I was like, what the heck? So B, that's for black people, maybe you, like me, right? And then we have the I for the indigenous folks, our Native American brothers and sisters. They brought them into the fold. But then the POC, according to the source that I looked at, are people from India, people from East Asia, people from Mexico, people from Hawaii and the Pacific Islands, and the Philippines. Now, what's interesting about that is when you put us all in the same category, under the same umbrella, along with that comes a whole lot of assumptions. And the biggest assumption that doesn't make sense to me is that somehow there's some camaraderie, like the melanin in our skin, which is probably the extent of our commonalities for many of us, but somehow that forms an allegiance, an alliance between us, that there's some camaraderie, that we have, this is a big one, shared experiences, because we don't, right? There are certain people who cannot show up for me as a black person. Now, we can show up for everybody because there are no civil rights, there are none of this stuff without black Americans. So we probably understand what's going on, like, all the time. We don't get to pick and choose, and sometimes we're people of color, sometimes we're not. We're always people of color, right? So we can speak up for ourselves too, because, like, we got degrees and stuff. Like, now we don't need other people to show up and speak for us. And that's a big part, like, we don't have shared experiences, and people show up and step in our shoes, and that's become the norm. This whole thing with people of color, as we can also say with other buzzwords like diversity and inclusion, that's sadly in many situations it's just buzzwords. Those to me are terms that allow black people, black Americans specifically, to be removed from the conversation. So we don't want to talk about race anyway, and we sure don't want to talk about it in terms of black Americans. So when we are hearing these terms, we need to be speaking up and asking people, can you please be specific? Like, what are we talking about here? Make sure that we're, represented. So my name is Helen Higginbotham. I am a Black woman. I love the skin that I am in. I show up in this skin every day, very comfortable in my skin. And when you refer to me, I'm not a colored person. I am Helen Higginbotham, a Black woman. So I don't mind you calling me Black because I need you to know that's who I am. I'm real comfortable with it. I love calling myself that. And the more that you call me a Black woman, the more that you'll be more comfortable with it too. That's where we are. You know, Black people are so inclusive, right? They'll try to paint us out to be all kinds of things, but clearly we're wonderful people. We've never sought revenge against anybody. So we can't be all bad, right? But that's not the picture that's painted of us. We're so inclusive until sometimes we exclude ourselves. We are complicit in the exclusion of us, right? We are so inclusive that the tables that we've prepared, we no longer have a seat at. We're so inclusive that the civil rights that we fought for, other people take advantage of them and they exclude us. But we're allowing this to happen. And you know what, Black folks, if you're sitting at that table, are you an ornament? Are you a salt and pepper shaker? Do you have a voice? Because if you're sitting there, you're not saying anything and you're allowing certain things to happen, you are a bigger problem to us than are other people. You gotta speak up, right? Otherwise, don't, get up from the table. Let somebody else sit there. And if there's somebody else who is speaking up, and if you can't support them or say something positive, then say nothing. Because then too, you're a part of the problem. And Black folks, we need to stop celebrating Black folks who behave this way, right? They can't come to the church picnic. We don't want to see them at the family reunion, right? They got to earn their way back into the village because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be in our village. They have a Black card. We talk about revoking the Black card. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Revoke their Black card. And those of you who are people of color, who want to show up when it's convenient for you to be people of color, I ain't mad at you. But I need you to be a people of color all the time. All the time. Not when it's convenient. Not when there's, some opportunity that you can cloud, cover yourself in being a person of color. I need you to be a person of color all the time. Can you do that? Please stop using my shoulders to step on my head and then piss on me and tell me it's raining and then expect me to go along with it. And if I don't, then somehow I'm an angry Black woman. Like, I should be angry because you just pimped me, right? So, I'm just saying, look, we all need to show up for ourselves. But let's be clear. Can we just get rid of all the acronyms? We're not acronyms, we're people. And we're individual people with individual experiences, with individual expectations. We are not here, showing up for, taking care of, other people. Most people looking out for themselves. And let's just call it what it is. So those were my thoughts for the week. That's a big one for me. And this isn't new. This isn't new for me because I actually wrote a blog on this over a year ago. And I just said, it was called Call Us By Our Name. Like, we're Black people. We're Asian people. We're Latino people. We're people. And white America does not get to lump us all together and treat us like one. Now, I tell you, it would be interesting if we operated as one. That would be, oh boy, powerful. And that's why, there are these efforts to keep us at each other, which we have to reject that as well. So, yeah. But anyway, those are my thoughts for this week. I'm sure I'll have more for you as the weeks go on. And especially in the workplace, we've got to talk about what's happening in the workplace. What's the experience of being, working while Black? It's very different, very different. So I'm especially saying in the workplace, other people can't show up for us. But we got to raise our voice in the workplace. But that's a conversation for another, or these podcasts, I'm not sure. I think I'm just talking to you guys. But thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Have a great week. Take care of you. Don't be a doormat. Speak up. Use your voice. You're more powerful than you think you are. And collective, we're very powerful if we stand up together. Let's not lose sight of that. What does everybody say? Click, share, subscribe. And I'll see you back here next week, maybe before. Have a good one. Miss Higgy signing off. Bye-bye.